Hey Justin, how are you doing?
Hey Carmine, how you doing?
Very well, thanks so much for your time.
My pleasure.
So first of all, what's really funny about your character Ali is the fact that he calls the journey an adventure. So I was wondering, what's the craziest adventure you've ever experienced?
Crazy adventure, sort of a travel experience, or
Can be anything. Yeah, travel experience, maybe.
I've been lucky in that I've been able to travel a lot. Uh, I would say I've took a lot of trains in China, and those were some of the more sort of trains in China, which I've had like in China. There's soft sleeper and there's hard sleeper, and I remember going hard sleeper. I think from Beijing to Shanghai, that was quite an
Yeah.
adventure. I also was able to get out to Western India, a place called Jaisalmer, which is a very remote sort of walled city, uh,
Mhm.
just on the border of Pakistan, which was a harrowing day-long car ride to get out to. And once you're there, you really feel anywhere where you feel very sort of far-flung, uh, the furthest away from home that you possibly feel that you can be. That's usually when it teeters into adventure less than tourism.
There's a conversation very early in the show. Your character Ali and Dean are having a conversation, and she goes like, "We can't fix everything," and your character responds, "Of course we can. The trick is actually wanting to fix it." So what is your opinion on that line?
The way I interpreted the line is that Ali Fox, I think, feels a kind of frustration in the lethargy of people not actually having a genuine desire to fix current problems. That could be anything from climate change to, a door hinge. I
Hmm.
think he's a very industrious guy, and that he wants to really be able to. Um, there's no problem too great or too small to fix, and I think um, he has the kind of optimism and determination to fix those kinds of problems. It's also kind of one of his flaws that he thinks he can fix every single problem. And they're usually practical problems. I wouldn't say he would say the same thing about his emotional life.
Yeah. And speaking of flaws, at one point in the show, Marco tells him, "You promise and you promise, but you don't deliver." So I was wondering, how do you make sure that you deliver whenever you make big promises?
um, uh, I try to. I mean, how do you make sure you deliver? I think, it's the old sort of speak with your actions, not with your words. So, if you sort of in life, uh, actions mean more usually. So if you're going to, it depends on what you're promising, and be realistic in your promises and what you actually can deliver. But, be on time, that kind of thing, then
Yeah.
you just show up and you're on time.
And how do you deal, with people that make big promises to you without delivering?
If it happens frequently, I just don't deal with those people anymore.
Right.
I think it's at a certain point you realize, okay, I've slipped on that banana peel 6 times. I don't need to do that anymore.
Right. Now the thing is that your uncle wrote the novel, like 40 years ago. And I was
Hmm.
wondering, what do you believe is it that makes this story so timeless? What do you believe why it still works all these years later?
I think it's a couple things. One is, or three things maybe. It's I think an interesting family dynamic is always good,
Mhm.
and this is a quite unique family. Um, Also, that sort of wanderlust, that desire to just sort of you know leave your own house without even locking the door and just going, and sort of finding your Shangri-La, your slice of heaven, your piece of paradise.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think just he's a very unique, at least Ali, to me, is a very unique thinker, and I think people gravitate towards unique thinkers. And when someone's mind works a little bit differently than what might be considered normal or traditional, he definitely sort of colors outside the lines. Uh, on it, he's one of those guys who, I think you would want at the dinner table to have discussions with everything from the environment to politics to the world to state of the country. He's just one of those sort of fascinating brains that you'd want to have coffee with.
Justin, I want to thank you very much for your time today. Pleasure talking to you. All the best with your show, and hopefully next time again. Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks, Carmine. Thanks, brother.
Bye, Justin.
Bye.